Sister Wives just made a fatal mistake, and the audience is not letting it slide. Episode 12 of Season 20 promised viewers the showdown they had been waiting for. Cody Brown sitting down with Christine and her husband David in Las Vegas. The tension had been building for weeks. The promos teased confrontation, accountability, and maybe even some long overdue honesty. Instead, what fans got was a masterclass in how to destroy viewer trust in under 60 minutes. The episode dragged through scene after scene of filler content before finally mercifully arriving at the moment everyone tuned in for. Christine and David walked into that meeting room. The energy was thick with awkwardness, and Cody started stumbling through what was supposed to be his grand apology. And then, right when things started getting interesting, right when David appeared ready to say something substantial, the screen cut to black. To be continued. Next week on Sister Wives, the internet erupted. Comments flooded social media with viewers expressing their frustration in terms that cannot be repeated here. This was not clever storytelling. This was not building suspense. This was a show running on fumes, desperately stretching whatever content it has left to fill airtime, and audiences are done pretending otherwise. The cliffhanger strategy used to work for Sister Wives. Back when the family was intact, back when there were genuine surprises and real emotional stakes, leaving viewers hanging made sense. People wanted to come back. They needed to know what happened next. But that was a different era. That was before Cody alienated 13 of his 18 children, before 3 wives walked away, before the whole premise of the show collapsed under the weight of one man's ego and his favorite wife's influence. Now the cliffhangers feel insulting. Viewers are not on the edge of their seats wondering what happens next. They are rolling their eyes and switching to YouTube recaps instead. Why sit through 40 minutes of padding to get 10 minutes of actual content when someone else will summarize it in a fraction of the time? The comment sections across every platform tell the same story. Fans are exhausted, they are frustrated, and increasingly they are checking out entirely. The decision to split the Christine and Cody conversation across 2 episodes reveals something TLC probably does not want to admit. There is not enough story left to tell. The drama that once flowed naturally from a family of 4 wives and 18 children has dried up. What remains is a divorced man trying to rehabilitate his image while his ex-wives build new lives without him. That might be worth a special or two. It is not worth dragging viewers through episode after episode of manufactured tension. The cliffhanger was supposed to keep people coming back. Instead, it might be the thing that finally drives them away for good. Sister Wives is not building towards something, it is stalling, and everyone can see it. The show is dragging toward collapse. And this episode just accelerated the timeline. The episode opened with what can only be described as 10 minutes of pure, unfiltered cringe. Cody Brown, shirtless and sweating, decided that what Sister Wives viewers really needed was a front row seat to his home gym routine. He lifted weights, he grunted, he bragged about doing pull-ups with a weighted vest on his back. And through it all, Robin watched with the enthusiasm of someone being held hostage by a fitness infomercial. But Cody was not just exercising. He was performing. Every flex, every rep, every exaggerated breath was designed to remind everyone watching that he still considers himself a catch. At one point, he actually said out loud that he has to stay fit because he has a wife who is 10 years younger than him. Let that sink in. The man who has alienated most of his children, lost 3 wives, and become one of the most despised figures in reality television history still thinks his biggest selling point is his physique. The secondhand embarrassment was almost unbearable. Viewers watched Cody try to impress Robin like a peacock spreading its feathers, completely oblivious to how ridiculous he looked. This is a man approaching 60, still desperate to prove his masculinity through bicep curls while his family crumbles around him. The priorities could not be more backwards if he tried. And then came the moment that sent the internet into a frenzy. Robin asked what she finds attractive about her husband, delivered a response so perfectly ironic it almost seemed scripted. She said what really gets her going is when Cody is a good dad. The collective laughter from viewers could probably be heard from space. This is the same Cody Brown who is estranged from 13 of his 18 children. The same man whose own sons have publicly called him out for abandoning them. The same father who chose his favorite wife over every single child from his other marriages. Robin saying she is attracted to Cody being a good dad is like saying you love someone for their honesty, while they lie to your face. The disconnect from reality is staggering. Either Robin genuinely believes Cody is a good father, which would suggest she is living in a completely different universe, or she knows exactly how hollow those words words sound and said them anyway for the cameras. Neither option is flattering. The workout scene served absolutely no narrative purpose. It did not advance any storyline. It did not provide insight into the family dynamics. It did not give viewers anything they actually wanted to see. What it did do was pad the runtime. It filled precious minutes that could have been spent on the Christine and Cody conversation that everyone actually tuned in for. Instead, audiences were forced to watch a middle-aged man flex in his garage while his wife pretended to be impressed. This is what Sister Wives has become. Not a documentary about plural marriage. Not an exploration of family dynamics. Just filler content stretched to the breaking point, hoping nobody notices the show has nothing left to say. Janelle Brown has always been the practical one, the wife who kept her head down, avoided drama, and focused on what needed to be done. So when Cody finally sat down to deliver his long-awaited apology, nobody expected fireworks. What viewers got instead was something far more telling. Janelle listened. She nodded. She acknowledged the good times they shared, and then she made it absolutely clear that none of it changes where she is headed. The editing tried desperately to manufacture hope for reconciliation. Producers cut the conversation in ways designed to suggest Janelle might be softening. Her friends asked if she would ever consider getting back with Cody, and the show cut away before she could answer. Classic reality television manipulation. But anyone paying attention knows exactly where Janelle stands. She is pursuing a spiritual release from her marriage. She wants to be free from Cody not just in this life, but in the eternal sense their faith promises. That is not the action of a woman reconsidering her options. What struck viewers most was how mature Janelle handled the entire exchange. She did not scream, she did not throw accusations, she did not demand accountability the way so many fans wished she would. Instead, she gave Cody something he probably did not deserve: grace. She admitted there were good years. She acknowledged that he loved her once. She allowed the conversation to breathe without turning it into a battlefield. Some fans were frustrated by this approach. They wanted angry Janelle. They wanted her to list every grievance, every abandonment, every moment Cody chose Robin over the rest of the family. They wanted vindication. But that is not who Janelle is. More importantly, that is not what Janelle needed. She said herself that parts of the conversation were healing for her. Hearing certain things brought closure she did not expect to find. That matters more than giving viewers the explosive confrontation they craved. The key detail everyone should focus on is what happened after the cameras stopped rolling on that apology. Janelle went straight to work on securing her spiritual release. She reached out to church leadership. She began the process of formally ending her eternal bond to Cody Brown. That tells you everything about where her heart actually sits. She can be kind to the father of her children without wanting him back. She can acknowledge their history without being trapped by it. Janelle expected the conversation to last 10 minutes. She thought Cody would say his piece and she would leave. The fact that it went longer and remained civil surprised her. But civility is not the same as reconciliation. Being polite to your ex does not mean you want to rebuild what was broken. Janelle understands this even if the show's editors want audiences to believe otherwise. She is moving forward. She is building a life without Cody at the center of it. And no amount of creative editing can change the fact that Janelle Brown has already made her choice. She chose freedom. Here is the detail that should haunt Cody Brown long after the cameras stop rolling. During his entire apology to Janelle, he never once brought up their children. Not Garrison, not Gabriel, not Savannah, not Madison, or Logan, or Hunter. The 6 human beings Janelle gave him, the ones who grew up watching their father choose another family, were completely absent from the conversation. And that silence speaks louder than anything Cody actually said. Janelle's friends noticed immediately. When she recounted the meeting to them, one asked directly if Cody mentioned the kids. Janelle's answer was simple and devastating. No, he did not. The man who claims to want reconciliation, who says he is on an apology tour to make things right, could not be bothered to address the most important issue standing between him and his former wife. His relationship with their children is in ruins, and he acted like it was not even worth discussing. This reveals everything about what Cody's apologies are actually about. They are not about accountability. They are not about healing the wounds he created. They are about Cody making himself feel better. They are about controlling the narrative before his ex-wives can tell their own stories. They are about getting ahead of Christine's tell-all book and whatever else might be coming down the pipeline. The apologies are performative, designed to look good on camera while avoiding the hard conversations that would actually require change. Think about what Janelle has been through regarding her children. Garrison's public statements about his father's abandonment. Gabriel's heartbreaking confessions about feeling unloved. The way Cody dismissed and ignored the kids who did not fall in line with his authority. These are wounds that run deep, and Janelle has watched her children suffer because of their father's choices. choices. For Cody to sit across from her and not even acknowledge that pain is beyond tone deaf, it is cruel. If Cody genuinely wanted to repair his relationship with Janelle, he would start with the children. Any mother knows this instinctively. You want to get back in my good graces? Be a father to the kids you abandoned. Show up for them. Apologize to them. Prove through your actions that you actually care about their well-being. Instead, Cody skipped right past all of that to focus on the distant past. He apologized for things that happened decades ago while ignoring the damage he is still causing today. The children are the elephant in every room. Cody enters. They are the reason Christine wants nothing to do with him. They are the reason Janelle is seeking a spiritual release. They are the reason his legacy is crumbling in real time. And yet Cody continues to pretend they are not the central issue. He would rather talk about his failure to protect Janelle from Mary in the early years than address why 13 of his 18 children want nothing to do with him. Until Cody apologizes to his kids. Every other apology means nothing. The mothers know it. The viewers know it. Apparently, the only person who does not know it is Cody himself. If you had told Sister Wives fans a decade ago that Mary and Janelle would one day team up against Cody and Robin, nobody would have believed it. These two women spent years at each other's throats. Their rivalry was legendary, stretching all the way back to before the cameras ever started rolling. Janelle was Mary's former sister-in-law. They were friends once before Janelle married Cody and everything changed. The tension between them became one of the defining dynamics of the entire series. And now, after everything they have been through, they are finally on the same side. The episode revealed something beautiful, buried beneath all the drama. When Janelle decided to pursue her spiritual release from Cody, it was Mary she turned to for guidance. Mary had already walked that path. She knew the process, knew who to contact, knew what to expect from church leadership, and despite all the years of conflict, despite everything Cody said to pit them against each other, Mary offered her help without hesitation. Watching Mary encourage Janelle to send that text to church leadership was surprisingly emotional. Here were two women who had been manipulated into competing for scraps of affection from a man who never deserved either of them. Two women who had been scapegoated and blamed and made to feel like they were the problem. Now they were sitting together, supporting each other, helping each other escape the same trap that held them both for so long. Cody created the environment that made these women enemies. He fostered competition instead of cooperation. He rewarded whoever kissed his ring the most while punishing anyone who questioned his authority. For years, that strategy worked. The wives were too busy fighting each other to notice they were all being mistreated. But the illusion has finally shattered. Mary and Janelle can see clearly now, and what they see is that Cody was the problem all along. This alliance terrifies Robin more than anything else could. Robin's power came from division. As long as the other wives were fighting amongst themselves, she remained safely at the top of the hierarchy. She was the queen because everyone else was too distracted to challenge her position. But united former wives present a completely different threat. They can compare notes, they can validate each other's experiences. They can expose the manipulation tactics that kept them isolated for so many years. Sources close to the situation suggest Cody is already working to drive a wedge between Mary and Janelle. He knows that their unity is dangerous to whatever narrative he is trying to construct. Expect retaliation in the coming episodes. Expect attempts to blame Mary for Janelle's decisions or to suggest that Janelle is being manipulated. The playbook is predictable at this point, but something feels different this time. These women have tasted freedom, they have built lives outside of Cody's control, and they have discovered something powerful in each other: sisterhood. Not the manufactured kind that plural marriage promised them, the real kind, forged through shared suffering and mutual survival. Robin Brown built her entire identity on being the chosen one, the favorite wife, the eternal companion who would stand beside Cody in the celestial kingdom while the others faded into irrelevance. She wore her piety like armor, wielding her faith as proof that she was somehow more worthy than Christine, Janelle, or Mary. For years, this spiritual superiority defined her position in the family, and now, with each spiritual release granted, that kingdom is crumbling to dust. Mary received her release the same day she requested it. That alone was shocking. Women in the AOB typically wait months or even years for such decisions. Some never receive them at all. The prophet of the church himself has a wife who has been seeking release for years, and he refuses to grant it despite having no real relationship with her. But Mary walked in and walked out single in the eyes of her faith. The speed of that decision tells its own story. The church wants nothing to do with the publicity nightmare that is Cody Brown. Granting these releases quickly keeps the spotlight from lingering too long on their practices. It makes them appear reasonable and compassionate rather than controlling and oppressive. This is as much public relations for the AUB as it is freedom for the women leaving. But regardless of the motivation, the result is the same. Cody's spiritual marriages are being dissolved one by one. When Janelle secures her release, and all signs suggest she will, Cody will have lost 3 of his 4 wives in both the legal and eternal sense. In the faith he claims to no longer believe in but still speaks fluently, this makes him an abject failure, a man who could not keep his family together, a patriarch whose kingdom rejected him. Robin may still be by his side, but her crown means nothing when there is no one left to rule over. This devastates Robin because her whole identity was built on comparison. She was special because she was chosen over the others. She was elevated because the other wives were beneath her. Without that hierarchy, without those other women to look down upon, Robin is just another woman married to a divorced man with a mountain of baggage and a trail of estranged children. The celestial kingdom she imagined ruling has evaporated. Insiders suggest Robin has not taken these developments well. The releases represent a public rejection of everything she believed made her superior. Mary and Janelle are not just leaving Cody, they are declaring that eternity with him is not worth having. They are choosing complete separation over any continued connection to the man Robin dedicated her life to. That has to sting in ways Robin probably cannot even articulate. The queens have been dethroned. Cody and Robin sit alone in a castle of their own making, surrounded by the wreckage of a family that once believed in the dream they were selling. The kingdom is gone. Only the delusion remains. Christine Brown did not want to be there. Every moment of her body language screamed that she would rather be anywhere else on the planet than sitting across from Cody in a Las Vegas conference room. She had to be convinced to even show up, dragged back into his orbit one more time for the sake of cameras and closure that she never actually needed, because here is the truth that Cody still cannot seem to grasp. Christine moved on a long time ago. While Janelle found some healing in her conversation with Cody, Christine approached the whole thing like a chore she needed to check off her list. Her attitude was not angry or bitter, it was something far more damaging to Cody's ego. Indifference. She simply does not care anymore. Not about his apologies, not about his regrets, not about whatever narrative he is trying to construct for the cameras. She has David now, she has a new life. Cody is just a chapter she closed years ago. The awkwardness was palpable from the moment she walked in. Christine mentioned that she hates having hard conversations with Cody because they never went well when they were married. Every difficult discussion turned into a battle she could not win. He would twist her words, dismiss her feelings, and leave her feeling worse than before. So walking into this meeting brought back all those memories of futility. Why bother saying anything when the other person refuses to actually hear you? Cody tried his usual approach. He brought up the past, insisted he never said he did not love her, and attempted to rewrite history right there in front of her new husband. Christine's response was essentially a shrug. She told him that was in the past. She does not need to rehash old wounds. It was almost dismissive, and that clearly was not the reaction Cody expected. He wanted emotion. He wanted engagement. He wanted proof that he still mattered enough to provoke a reaction. But Christine gave him nothing because she has nothing left to give. The woman who once begged for his attention, who cried herself to sleep wondering why she was not good enough, has completely transformed. She found someone who actually loves her. She built a life filled with joy instead of competition and rejection. Going backwards holds no appeal whatsoever. The only thing that still connects Christine to Cody is their children, and that is where her remaining frustration lives. She does not care about apologies directed at her. What she cares about is whether Cody will ever step up and be a real father to Truly, to Isabel, to all the kids he pushed aside when they needed him most. Until he addresses that, everything else is just noise. Christine showed up because she was asked to. She sat through the conversation because cameras were rolling, but her heart was never in that room. It left Cody years ago and found a much better place to call home. David Woolley walked into that Las Vegas meeting room with one purpose: protect Christine. He was not there to confront Cody or settle scores or prove anything about his own masculinity. He was there because his wife was walking into an uncomfortable situation with a man who had hurt her for years, and he wanted her to know she was not alone. That is what a supportive partner does, and somehow Cody still managed to make it about himself. Before the meeting, Cody talked a big game game about wanting David there. He claimed he wanted Christine's new husband to actually get to know him rather than just forming opinions based on what he had seen from the outside. According to Cody, David had made comments without really understanding the full picture, fair enough on the surface. But then Cody said something that revealed his true intentions. He wished David would just shut up and not say anything during the conversation. So which is it? You want him there to get to know you, but you also want him to sit silently and not participate? The contradiction exposes what Cody actually wanted. An audience. He wanted David to witness his apology tour performance without offering any pushback or perspective. He wanted a spectator, not a participant. Control, as always, was the real goal. What makes this even more frustrating is that David was incredibly gracious when he did speak. He acknowledged that he tries to see things from Cody's perspective. He mentioned looking at the situation through another man's eyes and attempting to understand where Cody was coming from. This was generous beyond what most people would offer given the circumstances. David has watched Christine heal from years of emotional neglect. He has seen the impact Cody's choices had on her children. And still, he extended an olive branch. But here is what viewers noticed. David appeared to be building toward a larger point when he was cut off. Whether it was editing or Cody himself interrupting, the sentence never got finished. It seemed like David was about to add a caveat, a however or a but, that would have balanced his gracious opening with some harder truths. Instead, Cody jumped in with a quick thank you for being gracious, effectively closing the door on whatever David intended to say. Previews for the next episode suggest David will have more to say about Cody's parenting failures. The conversation apparently goes deeper than what episode 12 revealed, but the fact that his initial comments were truncated feels intentional. Someone did not want David's full perspective aired in that moment. Whether that was production trying to save drama for next week or Cody steering the conversation away from uncomfortable territory, the result was the same. David got silenced. Christine chose well when she married David. He showed restraint when anger would have been justified. He offered understanding when dismissal would have been easier. And he sat through an awkward situation purely to support the woman he loves. That is the kind of man Cody could never be. Mary Brown threw a charity event for her friend Jen, whose husband is battling cancer. On paper, this was a beautiful gesture. A woman using her platform and resources to support someone she loves during an unimaginably difficult time. Nobody can criticize the intention behind the event or the cause it supported. What viewers can criticize, however, is how the show handled the coverage, because somehow TLC managed to turn a heartfelt fundraiser into yet another excuse to pad the runtime with content that went absolutely nowhere. The episode dedicated multiple scenes to this event, and in every single one, the pattern was exactly the same. Mary would be busy doing something related to the fundraiser, and a producer would interrupt to ask how she felt about Ron being there. Her answer was some variation of good. He is helpful. I like watching him interact with my friends. Then they would cut away. Then they would come back and ask the same question in slightly different words. The repetition was almost comical. Ron seems like a perfectly nice man. He showed up to support Mary. He helped with the event. He scrambled eggs, apparently, which Mary had opinions about. According to sources who have done some digging, the two are still dating well over a year after this footage was filmed. That is genuinely lovely. Mary deserves happiness after everything Cody put her through. But did we need 5 separate segments to establish that she is cautiously optimistic about a new relationship? The answer is obviously no. This is the problem with Sister Wives in its current form. The show no longer has enough natural drama to fill its episodes, so it stretches whatever content exists to the breaking point. A charity event that could have been covered in one touching scene became a recurring thread woven throughout the hour. Not because there was so much to say, but because there was so little else happening worth showing. Mary herself seemed uncomfortable with the constant interruptions. She was trying to host an event for a friend going through a crisis, and cameras kept pulling her aside to discuss her love life. The disconnect between the gravity of the situation, a family facing cancer, and the shallow questions about her new boyfriend was jarring. It felt exploitative in a way that left a bad taste. The Ron storyline has potential. Mary finding love after being strung along by Cody for years could be genuinely compelling television, but that story needs room to breathe and develop naturally. Forcing it into every available gap just to fill airtime cheapens what could be a meaningful narrative arc. Instead of viewers rooting for Mary's happiness, they are checking their watches, wondering when something substantial will happen. Mary deserves better than being filler content on a show she helped build. Her journey out of Cody's shadow is worth telling properly. Unfortunately, proper storytelling requires the one thing Sister Wives seems to have run out of: actual substance to work with. Sister Wives is dying, not with a dramatic explosion or a scandalous finale, but with a slow, painful wheeze that gets harder to watch with every passing episode. Season 20 was supposed to be the comeback. Cody's apology tour was marketed as the moment everything would change. Instead, viewers are witnessing a show that has completely run out of reasons to exist, desperately stretching whatever scraps of content remain into hour-long episodes that feel twice as long. The signs are everywhere: 10-minute workout montages that serve no purpose, charity events covered like they are major plot developments, conversations split across multiple episodes to manufacture cliffhangers that only frustrate rather than entice. The formula that worked for 2 decades has finally broken down, and no amount of creative editing can disguise the emptiness at the center of it all. Audiences have noticed. Comment sections across every platform tell the same story. Viewers are tired, they are bored. Many have stopped watching the actual episodes entirely, opting instead for YouTube recaps that condense the content into digestible summaries. Why sit through 40 minutes of filler when someone else will tell you the 3 things that actually happened in a fraction of the time? The show has trained its own audience to seek alternatives. The core problem is simple. Sister Wives was built on the premise of a large plural family navigating life together. That family no longer exists. 3 wives have left. 13 children are estranged. What remains is a divorced man and his one remaining wife living in a house they cannot afford, surrounded by the wreckage of relationships they destroyed. That might be worth a documentary special exploring where it all went wrong. It is not sustainable as ongoing weekly programming. Cody's apology tour was meant to inject new life into the narrative. Instead, it exposed how hollow everything has become. He apologizes without addressing his children. He seeks forgiveness while avoiding accountability. He performs redemption for the cameras without doing any of the actual work required to earn it. Viewers see through the act and their patience has officially expired. TLC faces a difficult decision. They can continue milking this franchise until every last viewer abandons ship, or they can recognize that some stories have natural endings. The Brown family story ended when Christine drove away from Flagstaff with her belongings packed in a moving truck. Everything since has been an extended epilogue that nobody asked for. The cliffhangers that once kept audiences coming back are now driving them away. The drama that once felt organic now feels manufactured beyond recognition. The family that once fascinated America has splintered into individuals who would rather never see each other again. Sister Wives is not building towards something. It is stalling, filling time, and hoping nobody notices that the well ran dry seasons ago. Drop your thoughts below on whether this show can survive another season. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you won't want to miss what is coming next.